So I get asked a lot about how I sew my point shoes. I do a crisscross and I do a looping elastic ribbon. You don't need as much ribbon. This is probably, I actually cut this too short, but I normally cut about a little over 20 inches and then it just loops around and you can get quite a lot out of your package of ribbon. To sew them, I either use embroidery thread or I happen to have this from Suffolk with their darning. I don't like to use this for darning, it's too thin. So previous to that, I used this embroidery floss, which actually this is perfect color for matching. It's number 948 and I think this is a pretty standard brand, but it says OMC on this label. So anyways, and then my crisscross, these are about 8 inches long, so I can sew down inside the heel. The amount that actually shows from the edge to the edge is only about this long. And this, of course, is personal preference. This is actually, I think, 5.5 inches that actually shows on both sides. So, and I go from right next to the seam on the inside, right here, and I go so that the seam is centered right here. The elastic ribbon goes on the outside when I sew this part of it. So then it ends up just making a loop to the other side and connects in over here. So when it's done, it looks like this. And I have the ribbon put on here right now, but if I unloop it, it looks like this. So it's not very long, but I wrap it around like this, crisscross it once in the front, and then take it to the back. And then the one that's on the top goes on the bottom, crossing in the back. So what's the wrong way? You can tell if you're going the wrong way because it immediately doesn't, it has like a twist in the back. And then I put this over the top right here. And then for when my foot goes in, it just goes underneath all this stuff. And then I just pull the ribbons up onto my leg. So just really quickly stuff it in like that. Here's the crisscross. And then these ribbons simply just move up like this. And then you just kind of straighten them out, make them look pretty. You don't have any kind of like bulges or anything like that. So it's a super easy way to do it. And then as far as I take one down and then the other, and I leave them like this, and then take the shoe off. And it's all ready to go for the next time. So as for sewing, I do this really pretty simple loop around. So it doesn't go through the drawstring. It goes around. I only do it like 5 times and then go straight across the bottom. So it looks like this on the inside, and there's a little bit more here because I have sewed down to include the heel so that it stays on my heel. But with the lisse, there already is a huge heel, so it's not really, it doesn't slip off like other ones do. So I'll go through the actual stitching of that. So I'm ready to sew. I have my my needle threaded with the Suffolk darning thread. I'm gonna do the heel first because it's easier to fold it back like this when the other is not attached. I also have a leather thimble, which is hugely helpful for sewing these. And then also one of these guys, which they use in, you can get in an office store. It's just a rubber thing. It helps me grip the needle better. So first I'm going to sew down inside, and I'm going to do this part first. This is the simple part. And then the other part, I'll show you when I get to that. That's a little bit more complicated. This is just a simple whip stitch. I've already put a knot in this thread, so I'm going to stick it through the back here to hide the knot. That's the first thing I'm going to do. and get the knot behind so that it won't bother me in any way. And then I'm pretty not real specific about this. It just goes down inside here. As far as, yeah, that looks good. So I just take up a little bit of the material and go around. So, and this is pretty basic. And I'm going to stop there. Okay, I'm almost up to the top here. I'm going to do the one last stitch, and I'm only going through the cloth. I am not going through the satin. So when I flip this, nothing will show on the other side. So there it's sewn down the inside, and I'm going to flip it to do the last part. And so you can tell or see that there's nothing showing on the outside for this. So what I find is it's easier to go in this side. So as far as doing the loops around. So from the inside, I'm going to go through right above the elastic. So you can tell I'm not through, like I say, I'm a couple of stitches there, which isn't really going to matter on the shoe. And I'm right above the binding there, and I got stuck on the loop there. So I'm just going to come through, and then I'm going to go straight down underneath the binding. So I'm going around the drawstring, so you can see. And like I said, I only need to do about 5 of these. So now I'm going to go over and come through. So you can see I'm coming through again, a little bit further down, right above the binding, and then straight in under the binding. So this way the drawstring will still function with no issue. And right there looks good. Here I'm at my very last stitch. I'm at the end, and I'm going to go down below. And this is a little bit more difficult on the sides because there's extra material there. The back is relatively easy. Don't need to use the thimble quite so much. Okay, then what I do is I go back along the bottom, and I usually go over 1, back 2, or whatever kind of makes sense. So I'm going to go actually over to about right here. And again, this is going along the bottom of the seam. So I'm going to check where it came through. I'm below the elastic line, or below the binding. And then, so I went over 2, and I'm just going to go back along the binding, over 1. And again, over roughly 2, which puts me to there, and back 1. It doesn't really matter which side you choose to do, 1 forward, 2 back, or however. All this is doing is making it stronger. There, I kind of went through the, I guess I didn't. I'm below the binding still. That's really tight. So if it gets too tight that I can't pull it, then I will put the thimble on and the rubber finger cover. Now I'll go all the way to the end. This will be the last stitch. Okay. I may be too high on that. Let's see. Okay, that looks pretty good. And then one more. And then we'll knot it off on the inside. Okay. And then I just go to the end and take a little bit of the elastic and make a knot. And then I just stick the needle in underneath and come up somewhere in the middle of the elastic and then cut it. And that's it. So it's all done. You can tell nothing came through. Here's what it looks like on the inside. And really, it's pretty neat. There's only the 5 stitches. So it's, again, looping around here, and then you just go over along the seam line at the bottom. Then I'll do the other one over here, and then this one will attach here with my ribbon. So it's only one sewing point, because these two will get sewn together like so. And then the other diagonal or crisscross will go here. And that will be it. So it's a pretty fast, easy, and strong way of doing it. But I wrap it around like this, crisscross it once in the front, and then take it to the back. And then the one that's on the top goes on the bottom, crossing in the back. So what's the wrong way? You can tell if you're going the wrong way because it immediately doesn't, it has like a twist in the back. And then I put this over the top right here. And then for when my foot goes in, it just goes underneath all this stuff. And then I just pull the ribbons up onto my leg. So just really quickly stuff it in like that. Here's the crisscross. And then these ribbons simply just move up like this. And then you just kind of straighten them out, make them look pretty. You don't have any kind of like bulges or anything like that. So it's a super easy way to do it. And then as far as I take one down and then the other, and I leave them like this, and then take the shoe off. And it's all ready to go for the next time.